Isn't it funny how when we were kids, popular studios inspired us and we may have even wanted to grow up working for them? And now, in today's world, generally this generation is going out and independently making their own out of their dreams, but not following any traditional path. What I mean is, there are more independent creators now more than ever, as it appears. Furthermore, there is even more of an opportunity to be a successful independent creator. Even 20 years ago, if you were to go out and start an independent company or just go solo and try to succeed that way, like people are doing now, you probably wouldn't have as much success as someone does in today's world because of all the opportunities we have to succeed independently. Now, why is that? One of the reasons I think is because big studios aren't really listening to their fans and they're making them out to be the enemy when the fans point out something they majorly dislike in a series. Now, I get that you can't please everyone, but there is kind of give and take to being a creator is you are making something for yourself, but also for the people who are fans of you. So it's not selfish to make the story as you want, but when you put something out for someone, it's hard to explain, but that is now not only yours, you know? When big studios, when a bunch of people widespread have a problem with something and big studios are making them out to be the ones that have the problem, that it's not really appealing and the fans they draw more and more away from that show the more they do that. And I think another reason everyone wants to be an independent creator as well, aside from the massive opportunities we have nowadays with social media sites that we can manage ourselves and whatnot, is I think everyone wants to create their own thing without creative limitations or without someone lurking over their shoulder making sure they don't mess up the company's reputation, because even if it does mess up a reputation, it'll be all on their own choice. Um, is they want to also support each other as well. Like independent creators support other independent creators from what I've seen. Maybe there are some people that are independent and aren't really involved in the independent creator community, but from what I've seen, mostly they are. A lot of people want to create their own thing with no strings attached, no green light to tell you when to start a project, no limitations or anything. And they want their creative rights and don't want to give them away to a big company, because usually you have to sign a contract or something. Sometimes you get a bad contract and you get basically no say in what you're creating, or little say, and it's all moved to someone else. They just kind of took your idea and ran with it, and you're kind of not involved anymore legally. It's kind of messed up some contracts out there. Now, this may make them less popular because they aren't backed by a big studio with the funding to advertise, to get it out there in stores and whatnot. But when you succeed as an independent creator, you succeed as an indie creator. And I say that with emphasis because when an independent creator succeeds, you know about it. Think of, from what I've seen, Digital Circus, Five Nights at Freddy's. Though I've never played, I know about it because of all this promotion for it. Sites like YouTube, Webtoon, Spotify even, and more help both companies and independent creators. If you want to go out and make a video, you don't need to be hired by a TV studio or anything similar to do it. You can just create a video and post it the same day. Do I recommend it? Well, you don't have to take it from me. I don't know. It's your choice, but most people who succeed do take more than a day. And I think that's something that people misunderstand about the indie community. They think just because someone is doing it themselves, it's rushed or not thought out properly. I think a lot of successful independent creators do plan whatever they're working on out. And I think that's what makes them succeed. Like, they know how to market themselves and whatnot. It does take more planning than people realize, but the point is, anyone can do it now. That's what these sites do for people. Like, they give people that opportunity that they didn't have before. It doesn't mean you'll get 1 million subscribers or followers in a year or even 10 years, but you still have the opportunity to do that, to seize the day, seize the month, the year, the decade. You still have the opportunity to go out and put yourself out there. And if people like you, well, they'll like you. And they'll follow you for more. Webtoon is another popular website that anyone with a dream of creating a comic or graphic novel can create and post their story right away. Again, no green light to go ahead, no restrictions. And if a large enough fan base gathers around it and they're super excited, there's a chance that on Webtoon, I know there's other sites, Webtoon is the only one that comes to mind right now, but there's a chance that Webtoon will make your comic an original, which is a dream for anyone on Webtoon. Those are just a few sites that give indie creators a platform, but most of the time they aren't just on those sites. Usually they grow externally as well, and they drive people to the main place they want. There's also sites that could promote your art, whatever medium it may be, and some of the examples are Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, though I don't know how people use Pinterest. Like, I see people with followers on Pinterest. I have no idea how that happens, but it's possible, I guess. I just don't know how to use it. Aside from social media, programs that help indie creators, for video game developers, there's Unity and Unreal. For artists and animators, there's the Adobe programs like Anime, Illustrator, Photoshop, etc. And free ones include, off the top of my head, Fire Alpaca and IBS Paint, both I've used. And I'm not sponsored, but Procreate is only $10 and you pay for it once, and I'm telling you, it really is worth it. I'm not sponsored. I kind of wish I was. But I just want to tell all the artists out there it's worth it. Other indie creators who have dabbled in graphic novels and comics that come to mind are Lavender Town and Drawing with Waffles. Lavender Town has 2 books traditionally published, though she started out on her own. And Drawing with Waffles started making a comic for her story, Magna Girl. Since publishing the first part on her website, she realized she may not like making comics as much, but in one of her videos she stated she would still like to do something with Magna Girl, but in a different medium somehow. Do I know? No, I'm just a viewer like anyone else on her channel, but that's what she stated. She would like to continue the story somehow. Another thing to consider with all, if not most, indie creators today is that we grew up with the rise of the internet and the creators rising with it. The ASDF movies, Five Nights at Freddy's, and even newer ones like Digital Circus, and though I haven't seen it, I have to include it on here because it's a very popular one, Hazbin Hotel. Now, even if you haven't seen the animated shows I listed or played FNAF, I haven't played it either, you know what they are. What makes these shows so popular? They're all vastly different, and even if they are the same medium, the majority I pointed out were animation. What makes them stand out? You know, why are they so popular? Well, to start, Five Nights at Freddy's, I know it got a lot of traction with Markiplier playing it. I think that was a big part in him making it popular. Also, the game theory with MatPat, he kind of made it popular. And I know, speaking of a similar thing that happened in the video game realm, I know Minecraft re-emerged, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it was when like PewDiePie started playing it, and that's when like Minecraft like rose up to popularity again. If I'm like, I might be wrong, but I don't think I am. I don't know. Um, Take it with a grain of salt, but I think that's what it was. As for the animated shows like Digital Circus and Hazbin Hotel, even though I've only seen Digital Circus, from what I can gather, Hazbin Hotel already had a fan base. When the pilot was being created, I heard it was created over a course of a few years. It was funded solely through Patreon. And the characters also were already like the creators' original characters, and were already like, there was just a lot of love for it already. That's what helped it become so popular, and now it's like everywhere, so that really took off. Recently there was I wouldn't call it a reboot, but it like kicked off with a like professional company, I think, and even though the fandom seems entirely insane, saying that with the utmost respect, any fandom can be insane. It's safe to say that they love this series, and there's an incredibly huge fan base behind this show. Aside from Hazbin Hotel, a show that I was recently introduced to, and I thought was pretty good actually, is Digital Circus, another new indie show that basically blew up overnight. Now, the show was being advertised before it was released, and seeing as it's an indie show, the gaps between episodes are very far from each other, and there are only 2 episodes at a time when I'm writing this. There's another thing, why do people love these indie shows more than shows produced by Netflix, Disney, Nickelodeon, etc.? Maybe it's because indie creators, going back to what I said before, listen to their fans. Being a creator and sharing your work with the world isn't solely about you. Listen, like I said before, you don't need to give up everything like you would if you were working for a big studio to please everyone, because not everyone will be pleased. But when you're putting something out for someone, it's like when you go to a store and there's someone working at a store, you expect them to, like treat you with respect. If you ask them a question about where something is, like they are providing you a service, and the way I look at it, creators provide a service of, happiness after a long day of work or school or something like that. And so you should create what you want to create, but when you're sharing it with the fan base, the creator must show that they're grateful for the fans that give them this platform and give them this opportunity to do what they want. I'm not saying do everything for the fans, because people will always want different things, as I keep repeating. Indie creators, however, know what it's like to be a fan of something, so when they are creating something for the fans, they want to please them, again, as well as themselves. This video isn't meant to put down big studio productions, but I just wanted to point out what I noticed about the flaws in it and why people might be turning to indie. Obviously, there are flaws in any part of producing or publishing something, and I'm not perfect, so my opinions and things I've researched may not be as well. There are good people in big studios, and there are bad people in the indie space. Nothing is cookie-cutter perfect or black and white simple. The main thing I want to get across is the fans enjoy something when they are happy with it. Again, not everyone can be pleased with anything and everything, and again, not everyone will be pleased with anything you may put out there. There's going to be people drawn to different genres, drawn to different whatever in a show, and not every show will be, as British people might put it, their cup of tea. I only say British because of the tea. But yeah, not every show may be something someone likes. Everyone has their own tastes. There's always going to be someone in the comments complaining about something minuscule to whatever you put out on the internet, especially when they have a computer to hide behind. Heck, I'm glad I'm behind a computer because even if 10 people see this video, if I was in real life and even 2 people were watching me, I'd have to do this in one imperfect take. With the magic of editing, I can take as many takes as I want, and then, even then, it's not perfect. So imagine how imperfect this would be if this was live in person. One take. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I just want to say, obviously whatever you enjoy, whatever you create, no matter how you create it, it can be good. Big studio productions, they can be good. I mean, I started watching the Fallout show, and I honestly, I thought that was a really good one. Check it out if you haven't. I haven't finished it, but I will. And that's a big studio production, especially when the original company is fully invested in making the show. I think that's what made it better. Then there's that other side of the big studios that Netflix released the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender, and it is a big step down from the cartoon. And I'm saying that as constructive criticism. If you want to know Avatar: The Last Airbender the good way, watch the cartoon. I guarantee you'll love it, especially if you like the live-action Avatar show. You will love the cartoon Avatar show. But, that's both sides of the coin. The Fallout show was incredible. Haven't finished it yet, but from what I can tell, it's incredible, and everyone is saying it's incredible. But the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender was kind of handled without care, and even the original guys stepped away from the project. Well, Bethesda Studios were heavily involved in the Fallout show. So I think when the sole creator, the person who created or now owns the copyright, the story of something, when they're involved, it's better. Even if it's not perfect, it's better.